Good morning, ladies, specifically the ladies and gentlemen. And welcome into this Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day episode of A Different View. Shout out to the women, to the life givers, gentlemen, pack a lunch mentally, ladies. Have a nice picnic blanket ready, right? This one will probably uptick the amount of women who listen to the podcast, and to y'all who do, welcome in to another episode of A Different View. It is encouraging to see the support. Also, it's good to see the known criticisms from folks on the subject. We are not going to take too much of your time today, ladies and gentlemen. We're approaching 1 year of A Different View. Yay! It is important that you acknowledge we don't do it enough. For those who I mentioned attention seekers on the last couple episodes, again, while you have that in balance, you have the other side, or as far as on the scale of balance, while you have those that seek it, you also have those who are not given it. And today is a day where we give that attention that is necessary. So let's hop in topic to topic, and we will go on about our day. We'll make a little note here of something to talk about on the back end on another episode. little notes, because it's something that's necessary to talk about. I will say this, because we're talking about parents, specifically the mothers. Y'all watch what your kids are listening to. We gotta say this. Every generation, it don't matter, right? Because there's a lot of fluff that's put out there. Unfortunately, you got people running the music industry that should not be, okay, of all different cultures pushing a certain thing in the mind. So again, a lot of these will be parenting topics as well that we speak on today, y'all. It's time to end the hoax. So the good train Charlie that we've been talking about, to an extent, ends and doesn't end today. So while we do give proper credit to Mama, at the end of the day, shout out one time to my mother in heaven, Mama J. Strong woman in my family. Those of y'all who listen on here who know me, or who might know my family, you know her. It's a no-nonsensical person, and it's come off in my messages, y'all. We not playing, man. We not messing around. It's time to stop, y'all. You know, before my mother passed, this is just a chance to talk about this. Before she passed from lung cancer in 2006. Yeah, we get to say it. So if y'all are we're talking cigarettes now. Please do not transpose don't fall into the trap right now talking between cannabis and we're talking cigarettes now. Cause see what the industry did, again, run by very greedy people who do not care about your health. Made sure that they were able to get kids at a young age, 12 years old, my mother started smoking. So we talking about testifying. Today, the Sunday message, y'all, by the way. Strap in. Okay? 12 years old to 50-something. Smoking. Sucking in that tar and every other chemical that y'all soak tobacco in. It's a natural, gotta say it, y'all. It's a natural plant growing up from the ground. But no, y'all can't just roll that. Y'all can't roll and smoke that. You gotta make a product that you put out to the masses. See, because everything about the nicotine, right? Y'all gotta tie it into Mother's Day, because we're talking about a mother now. And many mothers out there. This is about, right? Health. Women's health is another thing in this month, right? Y'all stop falling for the trap these people putting out. Hey, I know it's hard. I watched it in my own mother's life. I seen her stop. Unfortunately, we didn't catch in time. We didn't go to the doctor in time. There's a lot of things that didn't happen there, right? But at the end of the day, they trying to hurt y'all on the real. Do you see it taking off the market? And we mess around with the age and, like everything else, how they're making the price of it way too high. We'll try to increase the price. Maybe that'll discourage and deter some people. Nah. And I know for most of those that have, defenses in the mind, they're going to say a certain thing about things. That's fine. Okay. But the stuff they got out here for y'all ain't here to help you. It's here to hurt and kill you. That's the real thing. And I'm not just saying that because my mother passed, because she is one number of many. Right? So, that's just a little tidbit. Shout out to Mama J one time in heaven. Chilling. Enjoying the life that she worked hard for. And has left behind some proof of it. So as we continue, let's go into the definition of mother. A woman in relation to her child or children. This is going to be real basic, but we're going to get into the depth of really what mother deals with. The word mother deals with. That's as a noun. That's a verb to bring up a child. Again, I'll re-reference the verse that, as a matter of fact, this may be the springboard, y'all. This might be it. This might be it. She dedicated her life, my mother, to talking about love, before she passed. She was a heavy church person. Heavy. I mean, she was, as they used to call her, the hat lady. Because that's what she would do. She would wear them hats, y'all, man. You know them good church going sisters, man. The blessed sisters of the church, they wearing them hats, man. They learn early, man. If you can go out to the club, man, I remember my mom telling me this so clear. If you can go out to the club and look good, man, why you can't do it going to church? Guys, I learned real early how to question a lot of this mess. I learned very early how to do it. She taught me well. Mama J taught me well. Yeah, parenting. Here we go. Okay. Train up a child. Y'all have heard me say it before. That's Proverbs 22:6. I don't know. The Proverbs are real strong on a lot of this stuff between women and mothers and all that. So, again, if the idea is to train up in the way they should go, you have got to, two things that verse is kind of letting you know. Number one, you got to train. So you got to get well enough. That's just literally said that way. You got to get well enough to train those in which you have a relation to, those child or children that you have a relation to, from birthing them. Again, like you'll hear me say boldly, life givers. They're the life givers, y'all. There is a certain respect to that. Just like there is for men. And Father's Day is coming around, y'all. Year 2 of a different view. We will get into Father's Day, another side of fatherhood. We will have more pointed conversations because this thing grows, right? That's how life is. It grows. So the conversation second time around will grow different sides of a thing, right? Different views, right? You've got to know a thing enough about life, about finances, about health. They don't tell you this in school. They don't tell little girls this growing up in school. And how horrible. Side note, women got to start, if you already are, and we know how you talk about men, because men do some funky stuff. Okay, people do funky stuff to each other, but again, specifically, right? We're talking specific in general speech. Men do some funky stuff, okay, of which many of us are not apologetic about at all. We ain't making a case about why we should be sorry, not one bit. We believe that thing is we're supposed to treat y'all that way, man. It's a shame. What has grown up in the mind from our parents, man, I'm telling now we're not lying here, and this ain't a shot at, no one is perfect, y'all. Don't care how far back they go in your family's ancestry. No one's perfect, y'all. And we can glean and learn from both the positives and the negatives so that we don't repeat them and we grow this thing. That's the point. So, and any kids who may hear this, again, some parents, I'm assuming, will, fathers and mothers will let their kids hear some of these episodes, as you should. Okay, because again, knowledge has got to get to the kids one way or the other, and you know it ain't happening in school. It ain't happening in elementary. It ain't happening in pre-K. It ain't happening in preschool. It ain't happening. It's not happening in grade school. It's not happening in high school, man. It's not. It barely happens in college, depending on which major you take. Because some classes they ain't talking about life to people. Again, this is to train for work mules. This is not to grow for life for y'all, man. So. Man, shout out one time to moms, man. You know, so what we're gonna get into now is the etymology of the word. The etymology of the word, again, a woman in relation to her child. Middle English, mother is said moder. Interesting, or probably moder. But I like moder because that's interesting, like a motor. Let's see. Yeah, they got another one here. Kind of plays around with that a little bit. Source also Latin. We're just looking at etymonline.com. The word mother. This is a noun. Latin mater. Now we've heard of mater before, and that was an old pickup truck in the movie Cars. Now, of course, we know that was played by Larry the Cable Guy. We're not going into the country trope that is Larry the Cable Guy. Okay, we're not doing that. But what we're saying is this, man. There's an engine revving, man. There's an engine revving. The woman can't see again. A lot of topics that women have to deal with, man. Another one of them is. And we'll bring this out in the movie. We'll bring this out in this illustration right now of the Woman King movie. The men are gone, y'all. Who is there taking the place? The women. And we'll stop here to talk about single mothers. Certain cultures got higher percentages of them than others. One of the high ones is the black community. Okay? Which means somebody ain't controlling how they do a thing, and we're not going with the women. Again, I've referenced this before. They might be doing worldwide, award-winning type stuff to you in the bedroom, gentlemen, but you control whether or not you impregnate them. Again, if we want to up the community, if we want to get better in our communities, we got to do better. Don't blame your child, right? Hard word comes to us all, but it's time. See, again, playing the little happy dance and the dancing around the subject won't work. You got to do again, this is Mental Health Month, y'all. It may be time for some of us to have some therapy sessions. All of them ain't expensive. And you can find yourself some very seriously helpful and necessary and needed therapy, a person to talk to, trained in talking to folks. I can speak a thing to you about your life specifically. Again, you cannot train a child, a son, a daughter to where they need to go. To where they need to go. This is not so that if you have a daughter, mothers, to create Susie Homemaker. Again, that might not be where they. So I'm quoting it right every time I'm saying it here. Let's just take a trip to Proverbs. Proverbs 22. In the King James, you will hear me say this over and over again. Because repetition is necessary for learning. I go back to the King James Version of the Bible because this is where all of the bugaboo starts. So I'm going to break down the stuff that's there. See, again, we're talking this gleaning amongst all the other stuff that everybody keeps talking about, fathers and mothers. There is some stuff here we can pull. So here we go. That is completely different from the stuff they're saying. And that's the masterful design of the Creator going around the junk that the Creator already knew people were going to do. That they were going to take the holy words of God and turn it into a bashing session. Yeah. And they still can't admit it till to this day, but that's what it is. Anyway. Starting off with verse 1, a good name is rather to be chosen than great writ. Talk about training now. make a good name for yourself. You work hard at that thing. That's what's so horrible about speaking on racism. Again, this is one of these things you got to deal with in your families, y'all. There's no escape. See, you might as well get into it. A good name in your finances, so you shouldn't be a person who's got a whole lot of debts all over the place. Now, everybody runs into this problem. It's not about a browbeating session. It's about recognizing the problems, formulating a plan to fix them, and moving on with your day. If you got to get yourself a financial advisor to kind of show you some of the stuff, because again, nobody teaching anybody about financial discretion. Ain't nobody, I could, this is just basic stuff that I've found online that I try to put in my own thing here. But again, they make you pay $400,000 to have classes on some stuff that you could just talk by the wayside with people. I wonder why that's like that. I'll tell you why it's like that. It's not just because people are supposed to make money for the stuff they do, because they are supposed to make money for the stuff you do. We've gone over that in this podcast a lot. Just like when we talk about voting, because I know this is a little bit of this thing in the mind. There's another thing to teach and train your kids about. This is the life they live in. There's no need running around it. You might as well tell them however you got to tell them at five. Let's see. So we say Chinese, Taiwanese, Vietnamese, Japanese. When we name people from different cultures, Brazilian, American, all that kind of thing. So you got to talk to the child in each one of these ages. 4 years oldian, 5 years oldian, 6 years oldian, huh? But see, many people have forgotten what it was like for them at that age. You disconnect. It happens both with fathers and mothers. Again, unless you have the mind of a child, you won't enter into certain things, y'all. Now, we always attach that with the kingdom of heaven. But inside of the kingdom of heaven are certain things. What are some of those things? Knowledge, truth and understanding. Truth and understanding and knowledge about people. You live in a world around people, you've got to know certain things to be able to relate. Again, we're still talking about a mother to child relationship is another relationship, y'all. It's an affinity by birth connected. We just looked at that definition because it's not real big here. This is the road, y'all. This is the road, which is why it's real hard for single mothers, man. If you're not going to be involved in that woman's life, man, I understand. She got that nice figure, man. Gentlemen, I understand she got that. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. If you're going to impregnate her, if you're going to dump and run, y'all, that's not going to work, man. Just look you create issues doing that. Seriously. Like the laws made in the land are set up for family type stuff. Business is a family kind of thing, not baby mama. We're talking man, woman, and child here. Now, again, you spread around 4 and 5 kids. Are you going to be in all their lives effectively? You might be in their lives, but will you be effectively? Now, how much will they be hurt by your ineffectiveness? Got to think through some of those things. And again, I'm the first person to say it on here that you can enjoy that which is given to humanity, which is sex. You must do it in the responsible manner. I know the flack I'm going to get from Christians, and I don't care because it's clear. It's smacking you right in the face. The things here are for you to richly enjoy, y'all. So never mind. Never mind, man. Never mind. Oh, man. Do talk about dealing with depression and stuff like that while it may be something you always deal with. I tell you what, where you can tap into some happy endorphins, I tell you. But again, just like we talked about with some of these other things out here, you must use them responsibly. And one of these is dealing with this topic of single mothers. Man, stop creating single mothers. We understand death comes. And again, we talked about this with my mother. Had me, mom and dad living 8 years into the game, loving life, and my father passes, man. And now she's alone. She did not remarry. That's her choice. That's different, though, than, say, my dad hooking up with my mother, not meaning to settle down and create a family with her. Anyway. One day we're going to get it. One day we're going to get it. One day we're going to get it. Ladies, this is to you. Hey, listen, again, we understand. Cyndi Lauper said it best. Girls just want to have fun. People just want to have fun. We understand this. However, there's a way to do it. Don't you hem yourself up, man. That's why I didn't want to get on this thing with birth control and stuff like that. I'm going to be the first one to say it on here, y'all. Y'all better be on it. Y'all better be on it, man. What? What? This is to help husbands and wives. How are y'all going to have, this is just talking about how the babies come, by the way. So how are you going to sit there and have sex with each other? Man, I'm really glad I put explicit content on this, because this is the kind of stuff people get too squeamish about. They shouldn't, but it is what it is. How you going to sit there and have sex with each other, right? Oh, this is a blessed union between. You going to have a baby every time you have sex, y'all? But see, this is how some people think, because they've been reading a book that's telling you to be fruitful and multiply. So what's that mean? Every time you hit it up, you're supposed to have a kid? Y'all, the sex, you can have sex for a long time, y'all. What? You have... Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Maybe the only women that are supposed to be able to have sex really are the ones that can't have kids. Maybe that's how to... Never mind. Never mind. Again, people are not putting two and two together, man. The thing is here for you to enjoy. You got to learn how... You got to do what you got to do to control it. And yet they want to sit here and fight about whether women should have birth control or not. What do you... No. Oh, it's a form of this. Okay. Oh, see, that part y'all are talking about is when you use the venue necessary to do a thing improperly. That's what y'all are talking about. But the necessary to have it, I guess y'all want rabbit. Y'all want rabbit families down here where you got like 15 kids all over the place. Again, I re-referenced something that I said before. If you're going to have these kids, how you going to take care of them? Because again, you splitting you in sections, and that whole child needs the whole you. So at some point, that means that kid's getting, you got 3, that kid's getting a third of you. Hey, there is nothing wrong with doing it. Let me be clear here, because again, this is where people get caught off in the mind. We are talking about when you can take a thing too far. A good name is rather be chosen. I got off on the trail. So let's do this and keep and end this here on a good note, and we all go on about our way. A good name is rather be chosen than great riches and loving favor. Excuse me. Rather than silver and gold. Y'all got to get that money thing in control. Go all the way down, train up a child in the way he, of course, we understand the Bible's dealing with this sexism thing, unfortunately, a little too much, so we transpose these he's with theys. As you read the text, train up a child. On certain, not every one of these verses, but on some of these, it's obvious. Train up, you can't say child and then say he, okay? We talk, but it's not just sons. I understand this was the thought process in which they were, because the Jewish. Again, you got to read it. You got to read it for life, y'all. So if you're reading it that way, it's everybody, right? Train up children in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. Again, the way they should go, the way, like the Mandalorian. Since we're still in May, and it was May the 4th just a little while ago. This is the way, okay. The way for my geek mothers out there, right? This, the way they should go. A matter of fact, let's see. Let's bring it backwards here a little bit. Because, again, I know everybody likes to do... No, KJ, you're supposed to read it this way. That's tell the God of heaven and earth that God is supposed to create a certain way. Okay, God, if this is God's words, and God's words got meaning backwards, forwards, up, down, left, right, just like a Nintendo game, up, down, left, right, A, B, huh? Don't come talk to me. So anyway, how do you train up a child? By verse 4, by humility and the fear of the Lord. Now, when you say the fear of the Lord, we're talking about the things that are of the Lord, right? What are the things that are of the Lord? Justice, uprightness, or righteousness, treating people uprightly, right? We're not dealing with them under the table. This is one of these things that you train them in. When we say train, yeah. Well, we'll do this here real quick. What does the word train mean, other than to choo-choo? Let's do it this way. Put in to train definition. As a verb, teach. Okay? Some will liken me to a teacher. Guess what, y'all? You got to know enough about the full spectrum of something in order to teach and to instruct. Again, to teach a person or animal. Interesting. A particular skill, or again, do not think more highly of yourself than you ought to think. A particular skill or type of behavior through practice and instruction. Again, you got to know enough of the thing for it to build up in you to the point where you can tell a person. And again, you also, not only that, have to be pliable enough to learn something to then train it to someone. Because the thing is growing. See, the way you talk to them at 4, 5, and 6 will be different than 7, 8, 9. And the way you talk hey, y'all. So we miss it. 7, 8, and 9 going to be different than 10, 11, 12. Will be different than 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and so on. Just like in school, the classes get deeper. You learn math real basic in kindergarten and first grade and second. But by the time you hit 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, that thing get wild, man. You doing calculus by the time that is the same thing in life, y'all. You got to add and flip and know the square root and all that. And all you need to do is go in one of these stores and listen to it. And it's a shame. It's a shame, man. You go shopping in these stores with folks, man, and listen to some of the questions that they ask the workers while you shopping. I know y'all have heard them, and you got a question. Did people learn math? They don't know square footages of things. They don't know what colors go with what. In the clothing store, all that kind of thing. You know why? Because ain't nobody learning nothing. We going on autopilot of somebody else telling us stuff instead of us going to the source. But I guess when you're dealing in, as far as the black community goes, when you've been held down for at least a couple 100 years to not read, I guess by the time you learn that you can do it and it's legal and you're not going to die or go to jail for it, you start learning everything you possibly can if you about it, man. And I'm one of those. My mother was one of those. We talked about it a couple of days ago. Born in 1944, man. Do y'all know what's going on in the 40s? Because I do. I read history. I'm seeing it. I had my mother before me. She was talking to me about it. To an extent. Now that I'm older, I see that she was mentioning certain things, but she wasn't talking directly to me about it because she wanted to shelter me from this mess. And we should want to shelter our kids from this mess, but at the same time, they need to know how horrible we have been to each other. This is the heart and compassion that's in a mother. And side note, fathers, it's in you too. Although it might show more predominantly in a mother, it's in a father too, which is why you can have single fathers. Okay? Hey, man. A lot of this stuff is very simple. So some things here to end with. Again, the history of motherhood, and then we're just going to go on about our day. So let's see. I didn't bring it up all the way. There it is. There it is. Again, one of these things you can just go online. We're talking about it in the United States. This thing is celebrated all over the world. Different ways that they celebrate it. As we got Snoopy's music playing in the background. I don't know if y'all could hear it over the fan. It's hot now, y'all, and your boy don't play around, man. I don't. The annual holiday celebrated in the U.S. the second Sunday of May recognizes motherhood. That's a shout out to the bonus moms, to the grandmothers, to the mothers, every culture all over the planet. Thank y'all for giving life and dressing and keeping life, man. Whew. It's very necessary. I know some of the males ain't got it yet. But I ask that y'all stick it out with us just a little bit longer, man. You know, Jesus talks about that right before his death, since we just celebrated Easter a little while ago, and other parts of Christianity have also celebrated Easter afterwards, because there's other parts that they celebrate. Okay, and during his preparation for death, if you will, to put it that way, there's an idea there where he's praying and he's asking for some folks to, would you not stay with me just a little longer? You know, could you not pray an extra hour with me? It is in that heart and that mindset, y'all. So I know, some of us knuckleheads, man. That's an old school word, right? If some of us serious, you rattle the brain, shake it back and forth, you could hear sometimes stuff shaking in people's heads, man. Sometimes you got to wait it out with them a little bit longer. I know some of your kids drive you up the wall, man. That's part of the game. Some of y'all drove your parents up the wall. Some of y'all didn't, and now you have kids that drive you up the wall, but from that which you did not do, you can minister to their lives for those who do drive you up the wall. Because you were given certain tools in that time period you were growing you can use now. Just got to remember them. And again, this is why therapy is necessary, because it puts you in a meditation, all that kind of stuff, puts you in a place of remembrance. Do these things in remembrance of me. Why do you do these things in remembrance? So that you can do something that is necessary from what you've remembered. Simple, yet profound truth. You can't do a thing unless you remember what you did, right? You can't tie your shoes the next day unless you remembered how you did it the day before, right? We're just saying, do something in remembrance of. It's just, these children need y'all. They need that knowledge you have. They're not going to go nowhere unless you tell them, unless you show them. Then they'll fly on from there. Because again, the point is not to hold on to them. The point is to train them to let them go. Again, in the way they are going to go for their life. See, again, it's real cute to do house and we having a baby. And, look at my bump. Look at my little baby bump. And see, all that kind of stuff is okay. But again, no different than some of these other holidays we be doing, man. Understand the gravity of what is behind it. And your children will thank you for it. They may give you some guff in the beginning, man. That's all right. That's all right. Again, we referenced that two sons thing. We'll start to wrap up here. Yeah, we'll start to wrap up here. So, since some mothers have sons, let's just have a conversation about sons for a minute. Oh man, let's just have a conversation about sons for a minute, man. That's all. Hey. You know, for those talking to my heterosexual brothers and sisters right now, yeah, y'all are married to a man, right? As the women, we're talking, you're married to a man, right? Okay. You got to understand the thing. There is masculine in you, ladies. So there is some things here to understand, so that you might be able to help a person. But what think ye? This is Matthew 21, verse 28. What think ye? A certain man had two sons, and he came to them first. Again, just for fun, a certain mother had two sons. Yeah, let's do it. Certain mother had two sons. She came to the first and said, see, yeah, I know it's going to mess around with Christians. That's all right. Y'all deal with it on the back end, okay? I'm sorry. This ain't in the division. This is just relax, all right? Came to the first and said, son, go to work today in my vineyard. And he answered, I will not. This is real time talk, y'all. But afterward he repented and went. Okay, that's cool. I could deal with folks like that, man. Couldn't you? You get all that guff, this, that, and the other, but they wind up doing it. That's what you're after. I know this respect thing sometimes and don't talk back and all that kind of thing, but Jesus is bringing out a point here on purpose. See, in the beginning of all this, there's a lot of stuff here about authority. Authority, how you pray, and the authority in which you do things, and all that kind of stuff. See, parents have certain kind of authority. Jesus is doubling down on the thought later on here, telling you how to be. That's what the what think ye is coming from. So what you think about this one? So the son tell you, I ain't doing it, and maybe that got a whole lot of, explicative words, as we say. Right? Because they get older, you start feeling yourself just like when you was older, you felt yourself. Again, karma works in very interesting ways, ladies and gentlemen. The way the Bible talks about it, seed time and harvest, works in very interesting ways, ladies and gentlemen. You go and plant something, and the time that it grows, it does not always grow in the way that you think it will. Sometimes it's bigger. I was talking to a friend yesterday. We were talking about different plants because this is the time when Earth is Mother Nature, as we say, right, is showing her beauty. And we were not hostas. If you've ever planted the plant a hosta, not a hosta, 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 I believe is how it's spelled. Okay. That plant go in the ground one size, man, that thing over time grow up real big. And then you got to figure out whether you want to half that thing and plant it somewhere else or you want to get rid of it because it take over your garden. Right? Same kind of thing, man, when it comes to seed time and harvest. So the thing you get back might not be as you seen it when it first went down. That's why it's be careful what we do, y'all. Again, talking on this subject, because this is a real thing. You got migrants coming in, but again, you had migrants coming in this country before that were allowed in you're only getting back what you gave, y'all. I'm just saying. So again, before we get on this high horse of whatever your great-grandparents did, of course, the great-grandmothers would be involved here. You must understand what the play was in life, man. And what you getting back now is a result, man. You got to deal with the stuff from your parents. I know people don't believe that, man. But I'm telling y'all for real, you deal with what your parents did. Came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir. Yo, man. We know these people, man. Y'all yes people. Y'all yes people. Doing a whole bunch of stuff and ain't doing nothing. Y'all, man, trying to win the favor of massa. Y'all not doing nothing, man. And it's the same thing in families. That's where you get this idea of the real kid versus the fake kid and all that kind of thing. Because again, what you see in the job starts in the home. What you see in church starts in the home. What you see in the library, in the government house, in the police department, on the battlefield, starts in the home. Starts around that dinner table, how you talking about people. How you talking to that girl about that boy she might like or girl she might like and vice versa. This is real stuff to consider, y'all. And you going to leave some of them as single mothers to do this? That karma is real, y'all. So he said, yeah, I go, sir, and went not. Which of the two of them, now in the King James it says whether the twain. Again, that's old school English for which of the two of them did the will of the father? Or, like we just said, we were putting mother in there. Which one did the will of the mother? And again, most of the time, this is Jesus talking to who? His own people, and who were of his own people, high-ranking folks. This message, see, they try to silence, is for the lowest and the highest. There's no distinctions. We are the ones making these unnecessary distinctions. They say unto him, that's who the they is, the first. Jesus said unto them, verily I say unto you, that the publicans and harlots go into the kingdom of God before you. Chew on that for a minute, y'all. See, people, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to think. This goes with parents and kids. Don't down your children. Huh? The ones that you consider weak, dumb, have great potential in them. Don't key in on the fact that they're weak and dumb. Key in on the fact of see past their problem, their issue, to what you see in them. Because that's where you're training them for. In their lives. We all see it in our kids. Don't let the frustrations cause you to affect your training. That's where you got to get some training in that. And we all face it. We all face it. All different trainers and instructors and teachers. Of which parents are, of which mothers are. Don't down them. Give them help. I think it's necessary before we end here. Life is like a pool. These two things here, something about geese and pools. So here we go. Life is like a pool, y'all. Right? You got different levels to that thing. You got to recognize the levels. You got the shallow end. Parents are normally there with their newborns, right? And the little babies, getting them used to the water and all that type of thing. Then you've got that 4-foot end of the pool. We're talking about the real big public pools, y'all. You got that 4 end of it. So now I've gotten a little bit older. You've gotten a little bit older. You're now like, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we ain't training you to do the Olympic thing, but here's some more freedom for you to swim. Then you've got that 12-foot side of the pool. That's normally for the big kids. When normally they're acting like a fool, you got to be careful. Water is dangerous just as much as it is fun, y'all. It's just a side note. Too many times we keep seeing people dying in these pools. It's time to use some sense. Maybe you won't have that. Never mind. Let me pause. Let me pause on that one. But we need to use some sense and caution when it comes to the pool, y'all. Just a side note. There's levels to this thing. I was looking at my apartment. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'll say it again. You got geese. And the geese and the ducks are walking. And they got their kids. And the formation is the adults are up at the front. Kids are somewhere right around the adults, but a lot of the kids are in the middle-ish kind of thing. Then you got in the back some more adults, and then in the back, all the way in the back, you got, and it's just a pattern of that. Kids, adults, kids, adults. Guys, this is life. Protect your babies from this world, man. You got nothing but predators out here, and they talking about pedophilia, and they won't let it run wild, man. You protect your babies, man. You have been through enough, right? You already had family members come at you and hurt you, terrorize you and abuse you, right? Don't you let it happen to your babies. And some of y'all see it happening from a mile away. Don't do it. You might want to be in the bad guy. That's all right. Be the bad guy. They'll love you for it on the back end. Sometimes heroes need to be the villain in order to save people. Just saying. Okay? That doesn't mean you do things to hurt your babies. See, do not provoke your children to wrath. That's part of this parenting thing that this last deal, which I may do as the second half as we going forward here. Don't provoke your kids. They will go through. Lord knows they will go through enough. So that early training staging part, that's not the part. That's not the time to provoke them. That's the time to help them. Now, that's not to say when you ask them for certain chores and stuff and they're giving you pushback, that's you provoking them. That's not what we're talking about. We know that, hey. Again, drop the defenses in the mind. You know when you're provoking your kids. Stop doing that. You're not helping. You're only hurting them. So. And this is for the old kids too, with the as you become parents and then you have your own parents still alive, it does not change, right? The dynamic does not change. Respect given, respect earned. On that subject of respect, man, how can you, let's not stop hiding behind the parent guardian thing, okay? Wanting respect, bosses do this. So maybe we would see again, what happens there happens at home. Stop doing that. Just because I'm your parent and I am given certain respect does not mean I act a fool and I'm still asking for that respect from you, y'all. That's not, no, no, no. We fall into that trap way too many times. That's not, no. I've had people tell me sometimes, oh, okay, and KJ, this person may not be acting right, but you respect the office. Don't stop giving me that, man. See, we allow talking about this idea of generational curses, which I give some weight to, not a whole lot, because it's again, we make life too spooky. Life is not as spooky as you think it is. Okay. But you see repeated patterns in the mind that people are not getting over, and these repeated patterns are hurting folks generationally. And one of them is this power trip that the parents get on, because I'm the parent, so you know. Are you operating in humility right there? See, again, it's different than the kid is bucking back against you and you have that power play. We're not talking about that. When it happens naturally, okay? We're not talking about that. We're talking about when you acting a fool. Your kids are calling you out on it. Then you limp back into your corner with, oh, respect me because I'm your mother, father. Stop doing that. You're not helping the scenario doing that, man. And again, this idea, what you mean? By the time a lot of people ask that question, well, what you mean? You know how blinded they are to the stuff they're doing? They've been doing it so long they don't even realize it. Y'all know what you're doing. You gotten comfortable in it. Your kids are calling you out on it. Listen to what they're saying. Just saying. More times than not, they're right, yo. Because they're your partner. And you forgot that part of it. You're just looking at him as a child, as a responsibility. You're trying to get through to 18 so you can kick him out the house. Yo, y'all got to stop doing that. In family, there is power. I'm learning that the more that I reconnect with my own family. In family, there is power, y'all. Not only the way this government is set up to give down wealth through family, but in families are power. Because again, where two or three are gathered, you already got a power base right there. That's why I'm saying stop leaving single mothers, man. You make that thing more powerful when y'all stay together. It's cool to be together, y'all. Again, for y'all wanting to be freakniks out in the street and do all that kind of thing, there's a certain thing you can do respectfully and responsibly. I must say that, y'all. Because again, everybody ain't going to live an abstinent life. So if that's the case, y'all got to do this thing. You got to do it respectfully and responsibly. Otherwise, it won't work. And you just tear down your own communities. That is what I got for y'all today on this Mother's Day, man. That's what I got for y'all today. We are. What is this little note? Kids should never be able, we'll in here. Kids should never be able to play one parent or guardian against the other on various subjects of life. Hey, Mom, can I go do this? Dad said I couldn't. Hey, Dad, Mom said I... One is the extension of the other, y'all. I've had it told to me this way. When you're talking husband and wife, the wife is the female part of you. This is this becoming one thing. And for the wife, the husband is the male part of you. Y'all are becoming one. Which is important while you're picking the proper folks here. I mean, you are picking, right? Yes, you are attracted to certain people and all that kind of thing. But the folks that you can build life with, there's certain questions that you have to ask yourself. Certain struggles that you will go through with the person that you, again, who is your partner for real, for real. Okay. I know we don't look at it that way and we only reserve the word partner for homosexual relationships, but that person is your partner, like for real, like a business partner, your sexual partner, your everything partner. So the kids ought not be playing one on the other because what mama said, daddy is backing. What daddy said, mom is backing because y'all are having the conversation way before the kids, excuse me, come to you on that mess. Okay, I'm just saying, y'all. Okay, sometimes there'll be slips through the cracks. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about the mode of operandi, as they say, the mode of operation. Okay, the only way that happens is when both teammates are not on the same page. Break down the walls of sexism, y'all, and realize, like we talked about on these other relationship episodes here, that y'all are a team. Y'all are a team. We go in there. I think Mother's Day is deserving of this. I think I went 27 minutes for fathers, but we'll double down. It doesn't matter the time. What matters is the content. So that's what matters, y'all. All right. But we will keep working on keeping these things shorter because, again, we all got lives to live, which leads to this. Y'all have a happy and blessed Mother's Day. Enjoy out there. Do your mamas and grandmamas and your aunties and sisters, and do the women in your life right, y'all. We will talk to you next time. And as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.